Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. The things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and the medications are hard to pronounce. So please bear with me.
Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
All right. It says gut issues. Been having the burning sensation in my gut and have been worried if it could be caused by Keppra. Started having bad intestinal inflammation and difficulty eating enough. I also have cystic fibrosis, so I'm not sure if it's it. Actually, if it's that actually caused by Keppra, been on for a while now. Maybe I should skip a dose and find out. What do you think?
I don't think skipping a dose would be the rational way to figure out if that's the issue. I have never experienced any gut health problems. I hear a lot of people say they don't have an appetite anymore. I mean, at this point, I am eating less and less, but I think that has more to do with the clobazam being out of my system now after like going on 20 days. So gut health and Keppra, I wouldn't associate. If they want to figure out if it's cystic fibrosis or something else, they could definitely do a lot of other tests instead of skipping a dose and risking a seizure. Because Keppra is one of those for me where if I skip 2 doses, not 2 whole days, then something's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one. Doctor falsely told me Vimpat doesn't cause heart issues. 23-year-old male, so not only did I wait over a week for my doctor to get back to me about heart issues, I was experiencing a feeling of slow heart rate and electric shocks feeling in my chest. He finally got back to me a week and a half later, and I told him to keep he told me to keep taking Vimpat. Doesn't cause that. Yet a simple Google search will show you that it's not true. Vimpat, lacosamide, can affect the electrical activity in the heart and may cause cardiac rhythm and heartbeat palpitations, fainting, syncope.
Yeah.
And in rare cases, cardiac arrest. In important considerations, increased risk. The risk of heart rhythm problems with Vimpat and is higher in patients with pre-existing heart disease or those taking medications that affect heart rhythm. Also, if I didn't have this symptom until I started the Vimpat, then what is causing it then? I never take Vimpat. I never, yeah. I didn't even ask who's taking Vimpat because I haven't.
And it does. It does have a side effect warning that it can cause your heart rhythm to increase and stuff. So if your doctor told you that, yes, definitely file a complaint or whatever. File a complaint. Because, and it always goes with saying, look up the medicines before you start it and then talk to your doctor about it, because you don't want to go into something that's going to end up, killing you when you start it, basically. Like some doctors these days are just putting you on a med just because it's the next one on their list that you haven't tried.
Okay. Rick?
And Xcopri is another one that causes heart symptoms if they try to recommend that.
Yeah, I'm actually on I'm on lacosamide, which is a generic of Inpat. And I already had this researched because my wife was worried about this. So I'm actually posting what I researched in our chat. So I'm okay. I get checked out regularly, so my heart's okay. But yes, if somebody has pre-existing conditions, they should definitely, work that out with their doctor. And like Angel said, there's other medications and stuff out there. So just because it's next on the list doesn't mean that they should be on it. Definitely be careful about that.
What does the PR interval mean?
So the PR interval, that is, let me see what my notes had said. Hang on one second.
I feel like we're in a free lecture and we're all our own different. We're all teaching each other something.
I'm
like
telling you, these medical studies actually make sense sometimes.
yes, it's nice to learn about these things, and then because I mean that's how I get well spoken is by taking on information that doesn't necessarily always apply to me, but you never know. You never know.
And when you are confronted with this, you won't have to just accept what some
Yup.
professional says blindly
And they're like,
because you
trust
don't
me.
know any better.
No, trust me. Trust me. I know I have no degrees, but that's what makes it better.
Less chance of being spoken to, right?
Yeah. Don't speak at me. Don't speak at me.
Now we can be some of the ones that speak up instead of just let it roll.
Angel actually said something about Excopri. I seen something here. It says Excopri sucks so far. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter, but I have left temporal lobe epilepsy. I laid down today and I had a seizure. I just remember my shoulder popping in and out and the pain in my dream, sleepy state. Now I'm awake and it's killing me. I also remember getting up and the world was just like going down. So I hit my weed pen, sat on my bed, and decided to lay back down. I'm only getting on Xcopri, the 25 from 12 phase, but I'm still on my full dose of Impact. I feel very tired, moody, and I'm seasoning more. I don't know if it's because of the Vimpat mix, but I'm on one medication while trying another. I'm really not sleep deprived or dehydrated or any of my normal triggers. This stuff just has me bouncing off the walls 1 second and sleepy for 8 hours, interrupted the next moment. Any advice? Because I don't know what I would do if I keep taking it without advice. That's not funny.
I guess I can go with it since I am on Xcopri. You're like me, you're still on the titration, and I'm also on the 25, going on to the next level soon. I'm about to titrate up soon. And with and this is not just with like Xcopri, switching medications and trying to figure out the doses, breakthroughs will happen, and that's the scary part. I don't want to say scary part, but just like it's the part that you don't want to happen that might happen because you're going on to a new medicine that you haven't been on. You don't know how it'll work for your body. You don't know even if it will work. For me, I was also on Vimpat. The Vimpat is no longer um, holding back my seizures. So while I haven't caught a seizure on my nanny cam yet, doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But it is a scary part while you're titrating up until we're fully set into our dose. That's the advice I can give. You just gotta try to focus on keeping yourself being less stressed, and try to keep all your thresholds as small as possible. What did I miss? I feel like I missed. What am I else? You know, I'm forgetting something, and I can't remember it right now.
All right, you can just bring it up later. Sounds like basically you're saying the titration or switching meds always has to be gradual.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a scary period during anybody switching meds. You know.
I got something else here. It says I need to report my doctor, but the patient advocate line is unavailable 24/7. What do I do? The UH healthcare sent me to a physical therapist after I did damage to my shoulder after a seizure. It didn't do any CAT scans or MRIs or even x-rays of my shoulder. All this PT did was set warm towels on my shoulder, which hurt because my shoulder is in extremely poor state. Any kind of weight hurt. I told him that, and he told me, just man up and deal with it. I sat there for about 10 minutes. The pain was so bad, I had tears in my eyes. Then he took the towels off and sent me home. I was built for this. Warm towels that were so painful on my shoulder that I cried. Are you serious? This is the treatment? Accurate, helpful, medically based treatment? The second appointment, I showed up and he said, well, we can do the towels again. Do you think that will help? I nearly lost my cool, but I kept calm and asked him if we even knew what was wrong with my shoulder. He said he didn't know. I said I didn't know. So why are we guessing on a treatment that just hurts me? I ended up going home with zero treatment. I am still being billed for that appointment. What the actual fuck? So at this point, I've lost my cool. I called and tried to get a hold of the patient advocacy line. Guess what? There's no one there at 10 a.m. There's no one there at 1 p.m. There's no one there at 4 p.m. The hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. How is there no one answering my call? How is no one returning my call? At this point, what do I do? Is there anyone who can help? I have brain damage from my seizures, front temporal lobe epilepsy, and head injuries. Navigating this kind of stuff by myself is really hard. I just feel like they're not doing things right to an extremely bad degree. Left temporal lobe epilepsy. I haven't had to report anybody. I don't want to give any false advice out. Yeah, I guess what you should do is, I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah, first, what patient advocacy are they contacting? Is it a hospital clinic? Because if it's the hospital patient advocacy, even if there is somebody there, they're not going to do anything for the patient because they serve the hospital. They don't want to tell you that, but they serve the hospital. I can't tell, is this person in the States? Or because I don't know what to say for the UK, but I know in the States I learned not to bother with like the hospital or clinic patient advocacy because they're not there for the patient. My best recourse is going right to the state and let the state decide if it's something that they need to investigate. But yeah, I go back to the primary care provider and ask for an MRI for that shoulder. That's how I did it. I was like, I'm not doing anything for anybody until we get a look at this. And then it's like, oh, we got a problem, you know. But then getting somebody to do anything, you know, it's the same story. It's really tough sometimes to get a surgeon to work on someone with epilepsy. So, yeah, wow. We need like professional advocacy groups for people like us. We really do.
Right. Someone actually answer the phone.
Yeah, yeah. But I learned at two different hospitals that, and they told me in Baltimore, the patient advocacy department is not set up to help the patient. They're set up to save the hospital money from lawsuits. That's that's what they're there for. Um, but yeah, I would definitely go to the primary care provider, start back at the beginning, you know, and see if they can get the primary to order an MRI and go from there. But therapy is funny. They don't always get the MRI unless you literally hand it to them. And I've learned to do that too. But damn, that sucks. That sucks. It's like the injuries that we get from seizures and then we get the how did you do this or why did you do this? Um, I wasn't I wasn't aware I was doing this at all, you know, but that's gotta hurt. I mean, just putting the towels because they're that weighted like sandbag stuff. I can relate to how much that hurts. Um, yeah, it sounds like they definitely need to start over with their primary and just say, this is just this is too much for me to handle, and I feel I need a closer look. But yeah, stay away from the patient advocacy for clinics and hospitals. They're not patient advocates at all. Um, unless, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Somebody please tell me I'm wrong. But that's never been the case. And knowing a few people that work in hospitals, yeah, I worked in admissions at the emergency room. No. Yeah, the only thing in a hospital that really could help you may not have access it's called corporate compliance. And it's the compliance officers that will take a patient's complaint like mine and research it because I have every right to file. I am out of time, but I had every right to file a malpractice lawsuit. And because I ran out of time, the only option I had then was to report it to every organization I could. So it comes down to self advocacy. Calling somebody and saying, "Can you help me?" doesn't really help. And I get it. When you're not feeling good, you don't want to do all that. You know, just, man, I feel bad when that happens. You guys know it. It's like I just want to reach out and say, "Here, let me help you." You know? Yeah. Yeah, Rick, you're right. Patient advocacy is set up like human resources at work. It has absolutely nothing to do to help that individual. It protects the company. So, yeah. And sometimes that's the best thing. You can skip that step altogether. And, like I did, it's like, okay, who's the accrediting body for this epilepsy center? Boom, I'm going to talk to them, and you just kind of keep digging until you find that needle in the haystack. But yeah, I get it, man. I need 2 surgeries, maybe 3. And yeah, they're not going to fix this. But if you don't know what's wrong and you're going to physical therapy, it can't really hurt, but it's got to hurt. You know what I mean? That's painful. Mm. Yeah, we got to advocate for each other. I think we need professional organizations. You know, do they make professional advocates?
No, never heard of it.
No, what?
Never heard of it, but I do have something here.
Yeah.
Says, do you ever feel rested? 28-year-old female with epilepsy, about 6.5 years now. I'll have a couple TCs every 1 to 3 months and focals a little more often. I feel like no matter how much I sleep, I never feel fully rested. I assume it's due to the meds. I'm currently on 300 milligrams of lamotrigine, 200 milligrams of lacosamide, 50 milligrams of Briviact. I'm on 4 of Briviact and notice I was even more tired than usual when I started taking it. But even before before Briviact, I've always felt chronically tired. Is anyone else in the same boat? And is there any tips? B12, it's been working. B12, shout out to Nature's Made. It works. Um, yeah, like I used to be able to sleep, well, have to sleep. Like my body would tell me, you need more rest. I get up and go to the bathroom. I sleep till my pill alarm goes off at like 10 a.m. So like I said, lately I got up at 7 and I could not go back to sleep and I felt fully rested. And I was just like, all right, well, let's get started. Yeah, it's wild. B12 is working for a little bit of everything. And I'm kind of hungry lately. I'm eating stuff more often. I'm eating way more often than I used to. I'm making food more often. So taking it with my pills on time and it works. It's balanced me out. And yeah, at first I was like, this is some unnecessary energy. Like, what am I going to do with all this extra time? Yeah, seriously. A lot of extra time lately. I don't feel tired at all. A whole lot. And once I'm up, I'm up. Yeah, because this morning I did not want to be up at 7, but I laid down for like 30 minutes and I just could not go to sleep. I was just like, I guess it's up time because I'm not tired. And yeah, try B12, everyone. Let me know how it goes for you. Does anybody ever feel rested? Advice for this person? That was the question. Do you ever feel rested?
I never do.
I never have either. Like even when I was taking the B12, no, I didn't take them. Like I didn't keep taking them. I'm gonna try it again, but I don't know. I always feel like something's always being exerted out of my body.
Try to take them 2 times a day. That's what it tells me. And they're the extra strength. They're 3,000 micrograms. So they're
No,
pretty, and it's
yeah.
gummies, so it's not a pill. They taste good, so just don't take too many. Kevin?
I sleep okay sometimes, but I'm not as tired as before. I think that's because I'm down on Depakote. I lowered my Depakote a little, so I'm not as tired during the day. Um, but yeah, I get some good rest every now and then, you know. But I have to get my good routine in during the day. I have to, and exercise is important. So, you know, if I fall asleep around the right time, if I take my medicine around the right time, you know, don't drink too much water so I don't wake up, I have to go to the bathroom. Everything's got to be in the right place. You gotta get a good routine. I know at 28 you're doing a lot of stuff. You're probably busy, but you still, you know, our body's gotta have that circadian rhythm and everything. So you should get everything in order. That's my advice.
I say take some B12. Let me know how you feel in a week. Got something else here. Says, does anyone else feel the same? Does anybody else feel the residual uneasiness about the way a room or place looks after you have a seizure? What do I mean in this? What do I mean is that the space that you had a seizure in now feels contaminated. I can't look at my room. Hell, I can't look at my own place in the same way. I don't like the way certain lighting makes me feel, nor do I like ceiling fans not moving. These are visuals I recall after regaining consciousness from a seizure. I didn't feel this way before I started having seizures. I'm guessing this is a trauma response. No? Guys, we need some advice from this person. Anyone? Going once, going twice.
I'm not sure if that's because of the seizure, but again, if you had a tonic-clonic or hit your head against something, maybe something might have like happened that like I don't know. I was trying to say like certain things happen when like you hit your head and um like you might be more sensitive to certain things like light or and you might not be a photosensitive uh epileptic, but you might be more that day. It's hard to say.
All right. Toaster, anything?
Well, I um it started having seizures when I was a teenager, and I had so many in my high school that I can't really walk into a school now without feeling like, oh my God, get me the fuck out of here. And it's the strangest phobia. It's like some people have normal phobias, like I'm afraid of heights, or I'm not going over that bridge. School hallways. It makes parent-teacher conferences fun. And I do get through them, yes. Just as fast as humanly possible.
Kevin, you got something?
Yeah, the seizures are very physically traumatic, and what I think getting back to the question, it, I think coming out of them, you might like associate. I sometimes did this. I would like associate like I think I talked about this before. It's hard to explain. Like like I would be so sick coming out of a seizure that I would like watch a TV show and I would be throwing up, and then maybe like I couldn't watch that TV show anymore, or I couldn't eat a food that I ate after a seizure. Like like a it was just a negative association with certain things, almost like that phobia, but I don't know. It's strange how the brain works. But yeah, but yeah, that's how physically uh, traumatic those seizures were. That I actually got sick from other things, like second degree sickness. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that helps at all, but yeah, negative association. That's what someone's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in the dark. That's why I have my camera off. I'll probably doze off on you guys. But yes, thank you for that, Kevin. Um, and the negative association, a lot of that I had to work through because of the PTSD. And, those of us who have had the catastrophic seizures where you're waking up and they're pulling the tube out of your throat, that's traumatic. And, it's just like any other PTSD. You have to find a way to work through it. And the only way to do it is, like, for me, it's like, okay, that happened. Damn, that happened to me. Wow. And if somebody else were telling me that story, I would be looking at them like a hero. And, like, wow, you survived that. And I had to learn all over again to look at myself like that. And it made a huge difference for me because those things are so traumatic that, yeah, that negative association. I have a thing for, excuse me, um, certain stairways, like a porch stairway that has a railing, or like, like the motels where you have to go up the outside stairs. I have had seizures on stairs like that so many times that I'm terrified to go upstairs like that. And yeah, that's exactly what it is, Kevin. 100%. Yep.
I had a seizure on um, fire escape. It was all iron, just metal stairs, and
Oh my God.
oh, that was awful. That was like 9 years ago, I think. Um, 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago, and I woke up and then just two guys over me, and they said, "You fell down, man." So thanks for the help. Oh, jeez. That was
Wow. Yeah, right? It's like,
that.
wow.
I don't know how many stairs I fell down, but I fell down a lot. I had to wear a neck brace for 6 months or so.
Yeah.
That was awful. Oh my God.
Wow. Amazing. You're absolutely amazing. Wow. We have to start a book, you guys.
It says seizures while sitting down. Does anyone else only get seizures while being seated? I get half complex partial seizures a week, and only while I'm sitting down, and very often when eating. Would be interested in seeing who's else Who else's potential experiences surrounding this? I have seizures sitting, laying, running, walking.
Yeah. They can happen at any time.
Yeah, this person's only says partial seizures while sitting. So that was a little different.
Anybody ever have one while you're standing up and
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
notice? Yep. I was on the phone and my sister said, I think you just had a seizure. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And I hear knocking at my door. She had called 911. And when I moved, I realized I was standing in a puddle of urine. But I didn't fall. I was standing up through the whole, obviously, must have been a focal, like a focal unaware. But I was like, I didn't even know I had a seizure. But yeah, standing up, leaning against my stove, of all things. No burners were on, thank God.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't even know that could happen until it happened.
Um, I got something. We all got auras, I guess. This one says oral symptoms when waking up. Need advice. Hello, everyone. So this one is a little complicated, but I'm curious. Often when I wake up, I startle up and feel this almost like adrenaline rush in my legs, kind of shaky, etc., and lasts for a while. The shakiness in the legs reminds me some of when I've had tonic-clonic seizures. The only time it happens is when I wake up super gradually. I had a breakthrough seizure around a month ago during the day, and the neurologist had me do a 72-hour EEG after, which revealed I had been having seizures in my sleep, but small ones at like 2 a.m. in the morning in the middle of sleeping. Not those more standard falling asleep or just waking up ones, in addition to having some pretty petty mouth seizures during the day that I was completely unaware of. I'm really frustrated and sad because I thought we had it a lot more under control than that. But the point is, does anyone get the shaky legs, adrenaline feeling in the morning when they wake up and then it doesn't go away for a while? Is it seizure related? It's also a little bit tricky because I have PTSD issues as well from my childhood stuff, overseas stuff, etc. So I'm trying to sort it out. Any advice?
Um, I Go ahead, Rick.
No, you could go first.
I was gonna say you can check your medicine because some medicines do have uh side effects that do say like shaky limb movements, stuff. But as far as auras, I wouldn't know about an aura of what seizure, but anything that feels off to me, I'm definitely like sitting down until. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, I was going to add, same thing, Angel, about check your meds. There's also meds that will deplete some of your vitamins and also cause problems with absorbing it. So for instance, I'm on lacosamide and that depletes your vitamin B12 and also works with your system that it doesn't absorb B12 as well. So I spoke to my neurologist and he's on board with me taking B12 supplements. So that also falls into potassium and magnesium, as well as the way VIMPAT works with the salt channels and sodium levels. You have to make sure you're hydrating properly. So, like my neurologist said, don't gulp water, sip throughout the day. I also take electrolytes to help keep things balanced, because I had problems where I had extreme muscle fatigue, and also my legs didn't want to move and my arms shook. So I increased magnesium. I also increased potassium, and that helped that. And the B12 helped with other things too. So I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. This person, he or she should speak to their doctor about this. It could very well be, that shakiness and stuff could be a vitamin issue. That was my point about that post.
Poster?
What I was going to add is that if the in this instance, I really do think it might be the PTSD that they mentioned, because that is oh, and this is just personal experience. A lot of people that I know who also have PTSD will just, when it's time for them to wake up, it is, holy shit, get my bearings. Where am I? Okay. And sometimes it doesn't go away until you're absolutely sure, or not your brain, but your body realizes, oh, I'm safe. And when you're still waking up, your brain doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got something else here. It could have been used as an icebreaker. It said, "What's a seemingly small decision you made that ended up changing the entire course of your life?" Go ahead,
Moving in
Amy.
with my sister.
Say that again.
When I moved in with my sister,
Oh,
that because I left my own apartment, and yeah, I know that we believe nothing happens by coincidence. Everything is, planned out and happens for a reason. So, but that little decision, as big as it seemed, it literally changed the course of my entire family's life. So, it's like, yeah, that one did it. The seemingly small thing. Oh, I'm going to go stay with my sister for a while and check out Johns Hopkins. But yeah, that changed everything. Maybe that's not small enough. I don't know.
does no condom count? Yeah, so the kid changed your life basically. Uh, yeah, that changed the course of my life. Yeah, it did, because I was actually doing a lot of stuff before I found out I had a kid on the way. Yeah, so having kids is one thing that changed the course of my whole life. Anybody else? What steered you in this direction, Kevin?
In this direction,
I mean,
how I ended up
this point
here.
in life.
Actually, funny enough, I never used social media before until I had surgery in January. I keep mentioning the surgery. Um, I used Reddit for the first time in January. You messaged me, and I ended up here. But uh, but how did I end up here? Jesus Christ. That's an even bigger story. I would say the smallest decision, probably what college I chose. Because yeah, did I mention that earlier?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I chose to uh, um, stay. Shoot, I chose a college in the city at home because of my epilepsy, and I probably would have gone further, maybe abroad, if I, yeah, that's a pretty small decision, but yeah, would
Yeah.
have gone would have gone further, or chose a different group of friends or something. You know, that's something small, but
I know what you mean. It's something. The burning sensation. Does anyone ever get a burning sensation in their head? It's like not uncomfortable, not painful, not hot, but the best way to describe it is a small burning circle that comes and goes anywhere in your head or brain. I tried telling my neurologist this and he wrote it down and never asked about it again. So now I'm asking, does anyone else get a burning sensation? Rick?
Yeah, and I used to also get electrical charges. Kind of felt like, all of a sudden, that's why my wife called me Sparky for a while. Um, right after I had my first brain surgery, I definitely noticed that I was getting, so this is the side I had my surgery on. I would get burning sensations, and then it felt like electrical shocks in different areas. So my neurologist said it could be nerves waking up with the electrical sparks, but definitely the burning sensation. I'll notice if I'm going to have an aura, the same area. So I have temporal lobe epilepsy on the side that they did the surgery. I will feel burning around that area. So yes, definitely feel the burning.
I haven't got that personally. Mine's is on the right side, where it comes from at least. And I haven't got that over there nowhere. But I do have another question. So I broke my jaw during a seizure. Has this happened to anyone else? How did it help you? How did you help deal with it in the meantime? Have you ever broken anything during a seizure? If you have, I'm sure you understand. And how'd that go for you? I'm still waiting for the specific surgery doctors for a couple days. All they gave me was some fentanyl. First time I've always felt weird, but about that drug from personal friend experience. Anyone ever broke anything during a seizure? I have not that I know of.
I did. It was, well, the thing that I missed the most that I broke during the seizure. That was my it was okay. During my bat mitzvah, I used a glass of wine. My dad bought it for me. It was very, very pretty. It had my name engraved in Hebrew. And I was saving that to be my wedding glass. Didn't happen. It it phased through my hands during a seizure and just bye bye, broken too soon. Should have been a sign. Yeah, that's it.
I shattered my foot. Uh, Stairs again. Stairs, my greatest enemy. Um, I just I was getting into good shape. I was running. This was one of my last seizures, and I just kind of there was no auras or anything. I just woke up at the bottom of the stairs and shattered foot. That's it. Nothing really complicated about that, you know. You know, and that was pretty nasty.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, sorry to hear, Kevin.
Comes with the territory, you know.
Right.
But you know, we all go through it. So
Angel, you had something?
I have broken the front teeth on the upper front teeth about 20 years ago during a tonic-clonic. I fell off of um the outside steps. I fell straight onto concrete, and one got stuck in the ground. The other two died on impact, the nerves. So yeah, those were gone. I have a bunch of fractures that didn't heal right in my left foot. I dislocated my shoulder. Um, who knows what else? Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't broken anything during a seizure. I chipped a tooth. Um, um,
yeah.
yeah, I think the person asked how was our experiences. My experience was I was digging a hole for a foundation at a patio and fell in the hole, had a seizure, woke up in the ambulance. That was my experience.
I broke some of the bones around my eyes when I changed my major from nursing to forensics, and I can't remember the name of the microscope, but it's a very specific microscope, and you literally set your eye bones on it for the stability. And I had a seizure, and I fractured a couple of the bones above and below my eye, and that ended that major. It's like, okay, if I can't look at a microscope, I can't do forensic biology. So, but yeah, that was a seizure. But I did break my jaw. It just wasn't during a seizure, and that I can attest that is it's painful, not excruciating, but it's more inconvenient than anything because you literally can't talk. You can't open your jaw. And you feel like I felt like a, a puppet. What is that? Like what do they call those people? Um, People that can talk, ventriloquist, where they can talk without moving their lips. And that's what I had to do for like 6 months while my jaw was wired shut. But I didn't do that one with a seizure. It was my eyes that I broke, the bones around my eyes. And yeah, that one was fun.
Mm. Okay. Got one. First after 20 years of epilepsy. Oh, that's nothing like your first time. It says, I had something happen tonight that had never happened before. It's shaking me hard. And it made me wonder if anyone else here had that experience, had to ever experience it. I was mid coitus with my boyfriend. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was mid coitus with my boyfriend, and as he was causing an orgasm, I had a fucking seizure. No pun intended. We've been together for 6 years, and until recently, I would have been feeling too crappy pre-Cs to even participate. Since my RNS and newest medication change, the seizure auras are practically gone if I have something else to focus on. I guess my question is, has anyone else had a seizure while having sex? And how embarrassed were you? I didn't know.
I have many times. It's kind of just my ex-husband was not a really nice person. And if he didn't feel like he was getting enough sex, well, he'd just take it. It didn't matter if I was post seizure, mid seizure. He'd say that during the seizure I'd be tighter. Yes, I know this is sounding awful. And it was. There's a reason I have a therapist. I actually have read some Reddit posts a lot like that. Annie can relate. Annie, you and I can relate to a lot of things. Those are each other. You were like my
Oh, yeah.
hero.
You know I got you, girl. I get it. I get it. And to this day, I'm just going to throw this out there. He still claims that he never knew that I was having seizures.
He knew.
But during my first pregnancy, I had a seizure at my doctor's office. So he knew the entire time.
Yep.
Yep.
They just don't.
I got you.
They don't fucking care.
That's them. It's not us. It's them.
She won't remember it anyway. Sorry.
No, they don't. And it's like, oh, I never did that. You know, that's just their personality. And it's like, how do you do
They
that?
can never be wrong.
Right. Well, there's that. But man, I'm sorry you went through that. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And waking up. Yeah.
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 Like, what the fuck are you doing? Fucking. Sorry. Like, I don't know how I stayed with him that long, but I did.
But now you're out, and that's what counts. And you're here.
Yes, and I'm here.
And we get it. We support each other, and you know, and these things, you know, people don't talk about. And I'm so grateful that I have a therapist that has the skills that she does, and getting stuff like that out of me was not easy. And it's like, but once you get like where you are right now, it's like, oh, wait a minute. You know, I can look at that now and say, he is such an asshole. Okay. And
yeah, but then it made total sense.
Yeah. And now it's like, you fucking asshole. I almost can't wait to see him again.
I can't wait to see you in hell.
Yeah, it's, oh no, I can go talk to him through glass right now.
Oh, well,
yeah.
You gave me an idea about the federal restraining order. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I actually talked to my parents about it earlier, and my dad is going to talk to my well, I call my lawyer, the one that's handling the divorce, and I mean, because that assault was completely documented.
Right. And you can prove that vulnerability and how he took advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you might be able to get that. But yeah.
And if that happens, that means I can keep my Jeffrey Dragon for like never have to give him up to his dad.
Yeah, that's possible.
And that's not just good for me, it's good for my son.
Yeah. Well, hey, hang in there. And that's, you know, if you have evidence, oh my God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
it only sucked that both of us were taken to jail because I bit him.
Oh, I got arrested once. And
Oh, going back to have you ever had a seizure while in sex? Yes, I've had a seizure while giving someone head.
oh god.
Oh, yes. They
Sorry.
went to the hospital. It was
Okay.
bloody and terrible.
Okay. So how's the weather there?
So it's the weather. Raining.
I'm gonna wake my daughter up. I'm gonna have to go outside. I have to laugh. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead and laugh because I have to laugh. That's one of the tricks to surviving is laughing.
I don't think he expected that level of circumcision.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Joe, if you're out there, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're making the guys start to squirm.
To squirm.
Well, I'm glad it's me with this have seizures, so I don't have to go through that. But during sex, it has happened, and yeah, only twice though. Yeah, since I was the one having the seizure, I didn't have to go through what you guys went through. Sorry to hear that.
You provide us a bubble to, what is the term again? Trauma dump, which is healing. So you were following your calling as a therapist. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not thankful.
Sorry, what exactly was the question?
Uh, we'll start with the question. The question was, have you ever had a seizure while having sex?
Oh no. Um, I honestly think more women have um seizures during sex. I just don't know why. I don't think men have that as much. But
I think we're
I
not so scared
just
of it. So
I
What'd you
just
say, Kate?
I'm just thinking it's worth it. Where maybe we're not so scared of, having to take a break, but it's not worth actually just going to sleep.
I don't know. I think it's just more of like a maybe it's like a chemical or uh, uh, hormonal thing. I don't know.
Well, coming off of these meds, I think the benzos suppress women's libido just as much as men's.
Do you have a family, or do you have anyone in your general circle who does not take your limitations seriously? Uh, I would say seriously, maybe just not as harsh as they really are to me. The person takes it serious, but maybe as not as serious as me, because it's me, probably. And yeah, go ahead, Rick.
So anybody who has heard me at all past couple months are gonna not be surprised. My mother, uh, so like for example, yesterday I went to a birthday party at a restaurant, and everybody else knows, okay, if I get up and walk away, it's because I'm overstimulated. Get away. But she follows me, and she has to finish her sentence for some reason and tell me about what's going on when she thought she got a delivery from Amazon and she didn't, and I have to hear her going on and on and on, and I just have to say, well, can you leave me alone for a few minutes? And she, oh, you're tired? Yeah, that's it, just go away. So she doesn't get it, and she doesn't take it seriously.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I think it's probably easier for mothers to treat their children like their children forever if they
Yeah, I
might
keep
have to
reminding,
take care of them.
I'm sorry, I keep telling her, put a 0 after whatever age you think I am.
Right. Or at your age.
Yeah, I think there's always someone, even some people who you thought might have took it seriously, they want to use it against you and stuff, or they say, "Oh, it's not that serious" and stuff like that. Yeah, there's always someone everywhere.
Yeah.
The
Does
the
not take your
drama.
limitations seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I should show you my new toy, my lawnmower. Yes, the new responsibility for. I can't complain. I love it. I love it. But I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. I don't know. Let
Right
me
on it.
see if I can flip. It's a riding mower. Yeah, it's a Craftsman, and
My
it's.
neurologist would kill me if I ever went on one of those.
I almost tipped it on a slope the other day and scared the shit out of myself. But yeah, it's I had to have a conversation with my daughter because she was like, I didn't know that she expected me to be the only one doing this. And I'm like, you got to get on this mower. You got to learn how to do this. Oh, I'm back in the dark again. But she's like, well, I don't have the time and I'll just sell the mower. And she like snapped kind of. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what you're expecting here. There's a reason I can't drive a car. And this is a motor vehicle just like a car. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, go ahead, tell me how you're going to mow that slope without tipping the mower. And she started thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, I really shouldn't be doing this. I can't be out in the heat. I mean, I can work around that for a good portion of the summer, but not the whole summer, you know? So it's like we have a half-acre property and we're on a corner. So you know what kind of string trimming I'm doing. And I'm like, look, yeah, you're going to have to pitch in. But yeah, they always think I can just keep doing the Mama Dukes that I've always done. And I can't. So yeah, my whole family's like that. They really are.
But here I
And
am hearing you expected of that, and I'm kind of looking forward to trying the same thing.
yeah, I
I figured
love
if you can
doing.
get through it, then I could too.
Yeah, exactly. And I love doing it. I'm not going to lie. But I'm not going to put myself at risk and get heat stroke and have a seizure. But it really bugged me when it came out when she was like, "Well, I'm expecting that you're going to be the one doing this. I don't have time." And to be quite honest, she doesn't have time for much of anything, and I haven't been doing all of the things I used to do. I used to do all the meal prep. I kept the house clean. I can't keep up. And she's starting to notice it. She's like, how did you do this? Okay, this is how I did it. Good luck. You know, I don't know what else to say. And she's what? She's going to be 43. Yeah, she'll be 43 this year. I'm like, okay, it's time to learn how to do these things. Adulting sucks. But yeah, that it gets me going. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of stuff can really piss me off. And
I mean,
yeah,
maybe that's why moms act the way they do, so that when we do get to that age, we could never imagine asking them or telling them to do chores. I know I can't.
yeah, right?
But yet my mother asked me to negotiate the purchase of a vehicle today. So I come in handy sometimes.
Yeah, right. It's like I'm okay. Like I really am okay doing it, but when it's a time crunch, like we had all that rain and I had to wait for the lawn to dry out just to drive the tractor on it. And then I only had a short window and we were supposed to get thunderstorms again. but it was 90 degrees. So it's do it or it's going to be knee high. And I'm like, you're going to have to help. And I think she's afraid of it. I was. Shoot, I still am, but I love it. I'm having a good time, but man, I shouldn't be doing this kind of shit.
Right.
Maybe that is a way some, kind of all families have to figure out how to cope, like spin a situation a different way to see some positive in it. Because I know everything that we have to do, a normal
Yeah.
family does not have to do together. But
Yeah.
mommy can't really do shit on her own, especially if it's new or in a new place. For example, if anybody knew I was out walking the neighborhood right now, they'd have something to say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My
But
daughter doesn't know I'm out here, but I didn't want to wake her up. I was laughing so hard. Sorry.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't do this in the closet or something. I want to be able to speak.
Yeah, right. Right. But yeah, the crazy, crazy shit. And I didn't know until just a few months ago that my daughter that I live with doesn't even understand the side effects of my medication. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, because she had to give me the Nasolam, and she didn't understand why I slept for 18 hours. She was all worried. She called her sister. What do I do? Her sister's mother-in-law is the psych nurse. And oh my God, this, that. Oh, get her to the hospital. She's in canatonic state. But no, I was given the most potent benzodiazepine in a nasal passage. Okay, that goes right to your brain, and they didn't understand what was going on. And I'm like, I I don't know how to explain this again. Do you know what I mean? It's yeah.
They definitely don't print it right on the box.
Basically, you gave yourself a tranquilizer, and they're wondering why you're tranquil.
Well, yeah, yeah. And this woman is a nurse practitioner. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't understand? Oh, we were so worried about you. Why? I had a seizure, a cluster that was going into a tonic-clonic, and I had medalazam. What do you have that for? And I'm like, oh, I can't talk about this. If I have to explain this again, I can't. I tattooed it on my arm for everybody. Why did you do that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can't get through. And it's like, okay, never mind. And that's why when we talk about what do you do with those people that either just don't get it or they just talk at you, because that's what they do a lot. They'll just talk at me. Oh, you have all these mental issues. We think this. Well, tell me what kind of therapy you would recommend. And they don't even know that there's different kinds of therapy. So it's like, yo, okay. But the mother in law will recommend every single pill that is inappropriate for epilepsy. And this has been going on for 15 years. So I don't think they're going to get it. But yeah.
I had someone recently tell me to move their car.
Yeah, right. It's like, are you
And I was
kidding?
like, I can't drive, right? I'm not supposed to drive. And so, lately I've been feeling a little uncomfortable with the shit I've been going on lately, wandering off and shit.
Right.
I explained, I can wander off in your car because I do know how to drive. So me and my mind just not being there, thinking, oh, let's just leave. Me not being there, we fucked up. And he was just like, you just moving the car out of the red. There's a spot open right there. Just put it in that spot. I was
Yeah.
just like, no, you're not going to keep telling me. I'm not going to do that for myself. So,
Yeah.
I'm not
You know,
saying
and
no because of you were asking me. I'm saying no because myself. I don't want to do it. I don't trust myself.
right, I know
Not that I
better.
don't trust myself. I don't want to put myself in a position like that. So
Right. I don't want to be responsible for damaging your car or anybody else's, and sometimes it's got to go to that, where it's like I could total your car.
But instead of somebody acknowledging that that's the more responsible route to take, they would take it personal and stomp off and throw that back in your face later.
Oh, right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then it's
that's
like,
how.
okay, that's when I say, okay, that's you. I see that you have made up your mind, you have your own opinion. That's you. I cannot change clinical evidence, so I can't change your opinion, but that's you. That's not, your opinion doesn't change the truth for me. And we've had that conversation over and over, to the point where we said on Mother's Day that if my son-in-law creates another problem on a holiday, I will never go back to that house. And he did. And I've missed 2 holidays because of it. And the last one, well, for the 4th of July, it's like, why, why didn't you come out Sunday? Because, they went somewhere else and everybody got together on Sunday and I didn't go. And they're like, well, why didn't you come out? What's going on? I had a really bad seizure Wednesday and I still haven't recovered. I don't understand. I don't care. I don't care if you don't understand, you know. But yeah, and then it'll come back on me. Oh, you never participate in family events. You didn't go to the kids' concerts. Because I can't. Unless you want to put me in a wheelchair and put a hood over my head, I can't get through that crowd.
But what do they say when you rationalize the alternative? Yeah, I'll come to the kids' concert, and if I fall out and everybody ends up looking at me, they have to stop the concert when the paramedics come to get me.
And that's basically what happened at a kindergarten graduation. Because that's when the kids were wearing all those flashy sneakers. And I am not photosensitive, but between that overstimulation and then the crowd, I got stuck in the middle of a crowd in the hallway. And I started shaking. I had to sit down. I was drenched in sweat. And everybody was mad because, well, some people had to change their plans. They were going to, what, Texas Steakhouse, whatever, and I couldn't go. And my daughter, who drove me there, couldn't go. So everybody got mad at me. And all I kept saying was, told you so. Do you believe me now? What do you want me to do? They insisted that I be there. I said I really would love to, but that could be a problem for me. And it was. So, yeah. So I don't do those things now. And it's like, oh, well, you never do anything. Yeah, it sucks.
has anybody else gotten more emotional after starting meds? I was formally diagnosed with JME 5 years ago, but I've been dealing with it for 7. I've started thinking and noticed that since I started taking meds, I'm more emotional and cry at small things all the time. I'm talking like you can say something to me, and if it's even slightly in an upset tone of voice, I'll get upset. I cry at least once a week, if not more. Do I just need therapy? Uh, I guess I cry time to time.
I wouldn't suggest
Mostly
a therapy route unless it's actually interrupting your life, though.
like some things, like watching the first 48, I called myself crying because I was like, this kid's mom is crying and 3 or 4 kids are dead or whatever. I can't watch people's mom cry, come to find out. The first 48, I can watch it until it's somebody's mama crying. that gets me. For some reason, I cried when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I was just like, they were excited, and I seen some other guy crying that was on the team, so I was just like, that's a exciting moment for them. I was like, they're all crying and hugging each other, and a tear went down my face, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not even a fan, but watching grown men cry in football uniforms and helmets did something to me. Rick, you have something?
Yep, we'll see if my dog behaves while I'm talking. Stop it. Just give me 2 minutes. So I'm not one of those macho jerks. I just don't cry that often usually. And my son's really been freaked out since I started having seizures that I cry all the time. So he's like, dude, what's the matter? You don't do that. I'll have a song on the radio. I'll start singing along. I start crying. I don't know. That song's not a sad song. I just start crying. He's reading, something from school. I start crying. Like, I don't like math, but just because there's a math problem in the book, why am I crying? So that does happen quite a bit. My neurologist said probably has to do with the area of the brain that's being affected. For this person, if you want to go to therapy and that's a thing, or talk to your doctor about it, or just accept that you're going to be a little bit emotional either while you're getting used to meds or for what's going on.
I would think therapy comes into play if it starts interrupting your life or activities. Otherwise, we all have to learn to deal with things. I know we've covered this topic a lot, but personal relationships definitely get strained.
So
It's not really something they discuss from a clinical perspective, but it happens. It's better to hear other people acknowledge that you're not the only one to definitely not have a normal mother-daughter relationship.
I got one here. It says, I'm really looking for support because I'm feeling discouraged after a normal MRI. I'm just starting testing to see if I can have surgery. Just got brain MRI results. I've had one before and it came out normal. So I was already expecting the answer. But man, I'm just feeling like I wish they could have pinpointed something, and they were so cheery on the phone congratulating me. I've already visited the EMU about 8 years ago, and they think my seizures are right frontal lobe, but nothing specific located. I've got another EMU visit lined up in 2 months. I've heard with the absence of any sign of lesion, it can make everything more difficult to diagnose. Just dreading what's to come and trying so hard to not think about it. But times like this, I just get so down. Anyone else go through this? Any thoughts on normal MRI struggle? And if so, what are the tests they did they do? So hard to find anyone that understands. Just wish I had some answers to all this bullshit. Person said they're just looking for support. I've had some good MRIs, some bad MRIs. I guess I've always had ones where they say, yeah, normal MRI, same thing. Advice, you guys ever had some MRIs that went unexpectedly or expectedly?
I think all the clean MRIs were more frustrating because that was around the time that they were still trying to pinpoint what options are. They know the meds aren't working. They've gotten plenty of seizures on EEGs, but for some reason, they always need a clean MRI before you move on to a different kind of treatment or even start talking surgery. So that took some years of clean MRIs, like every, no lie, like 4 months.
Had a seizure at work and my students were great about it. I teach at a sixth form of college, 16 through 19, and have focal aware seizures, rarely tonic-clonic. Normally, I get an aura, ocular migraine, dread, sweating, etc. a couple of hours beforehand, and I can get myself somewhere safe. But this morning, it hit me out of nowhere as I was walking across my teaching lab. Apparently, I just sat on the floor before falling and said out loud, "Please get some help." One of my students ran to the reception to get a first aider. One gave me her unopened bottle of water, and another brought me my lab coat to use as a blanket. I don't remember any of this. Lost a good 45 minutes of memory there. Apparently, my right arm was seized up and shaking, but I have been told by the first aider that my class was super calm. And one had started a timer, and another had Googled what to do if someone has a seizure. And they were reading out instructions of what to look out for on the NHS site. I am home taking the rest of the day off, but I am very proud of how well a group of 16-year-olds responded to what must have been a very freaky situation for them.
Can you just sum it up? What was there a question in this one?
There wasn't. There was just that. I thought there was going to be a question. I got one. It says, "What is something you enjoy doing alone?" Okay, you want to start? We'll go around.
I'm thinking anything I can handle alone, from puzzles to reading a book to getting the fuck out for a midnight walk. See the full moon, anything I can do alone. What about you, Ann?
With me, what I enjoy doing alone, like I said, just about anything. I like to do things alone. Everything feels awesome alone. Rick, things you like to do alone? Angel, you're next. You ready?
Yeah, I would say read, listen to music, just be around quiet because that's very rare. So that's what I like to do alone.
Play video games. Like, I don't like going on the online anymore for video games. Definitely read, take walks, just sit around and just like what is it? Like, think, you know?
Sit around in deep thought by yourself.
Yeah.
And you got anything?
I gotta turn my mic on first. I'm always alone, but so most things I do like to do alone, but I kind of like I like working in the garden alone, and doing the stuff I have to do outside by myself but I really do have to have somebody around when I'm driving that beat, but um I just like puttering in the garden or with my plants by myself without anybody else around.
I like being with my kids alone, although I should not be. I love it. I love just being me and them, and they love it. It's a great feeling, just me and them. It's nothing like it. I'm the cool parent.
And there's no other place that you can totally feel free to be yourself around others unless it's with your children, in my experience.
Yeah, I always
Nowhere in public or with the family or any grown members of the family anyway.
try to make sure they know how important the father is. And I tell them, you guys, this is kind of a luxury. I didn't have a dad, and they're like, "Oh, why not? Why is he here now then?" I'm like, he wasn't there when I was your age. Just know that. But he's here now for you guys. So yeah, there's that. Make sure they understand I'm the cool parent. I'm here.
I can say I like doing chores alone because everybody has their own way of doing things and want to do it their way, and they want you to do it their way, and you want to do it your way. Yeah.
You guys have anything, a skill that you look forward to learning, or something you still want to do?
I'm gonna drive. Let's
Well, your
see.
street racing days are out.
Yeah, I would love the street race. That was my dream, like Fast and the Furious. It's like, you can't drive, but I just got my permit. That was shot down fast. So yeah, things I like doing alone, basically everything, and being with my kids is the best thing to do alone with. Yeah, it's a good feeling. Next, I got something. This says, does anybody else feel terrified about the research being defunded? The seizures are not controlled. Meds have never worked for me. I'm counting on new treatment, and now Trump is making that research hard. Makes me want to scream and cry and punch a wall. I feel like there are so many new ideas out there, but we need the money to fund the research. I'm scared. I was feeling hopeful for a while that new things are coming. Does anybody feel terrified? I actually did not know that to feel terrified. So, thoughts, you guys? Rick?
Right. So I'm going to start off with I am not very political. I don't lean one way or the other.
Me either.
I've worked with pharmaceutical companies. I worked for pharmaceutical companies. And also I have friends that work in big media companies. So with that, a lot of stuff that you hear in the media is overblown. Either there's an agenda or they want you to be scared, they want you to be nervous because that gets ratings and it also pushes an agenda one way or another. Working with pharmaceutical companies, they want to make money. How do they make money? They come out with new therapies. Not necessarily to cure you, but to make you feel better so you keep buying their stuff. And there's also this little place called Europe and Asia. They have, from what I understand, scientists, but don't quote me on that. I've never been there, but from what I hear, they have scientists that are researching and finding out things too. So whether there's a temporary drop for 4 to 8 years in the US because of an administration, that's not affecting other places. So if that's really happening, it's going to be a small blip. I'm rambling now, so I'm just going to say, no, I'm not terrified. Whatever could be overblown in the media is overblown, and anything that, if there is real change, it's temporary. And there's another 3/4 of the world that's also doing research.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of what Rick said. Yeah. There's research constantly being done somewhere else in the world. Me, myself, I have lived with epilepsy for 28 years. I am not terrified by what Trump said. I would say I accepted it, I have epilepsy. And I'm, if a cure comes out tomorrow, sure. Will I be the first one in line for it? I doubt it. They want you to have it, but um I will want to be the first in line. But yeah. I've accepted epilepsy. So I'm not terrified about anything slowing down. I've been living it with it so long.
Yeah, I like your answer.
Does anybody have suggestions on how to manage epilepsy, or maybe something I haven't thought of when you're on a trip?
So when
About to
you're
go
on a
out
trip,
of, yeah, we're about to go out of state for a couple of weeks, and I can't help but think maybe I forgot about something.
I had one about that. But let me
Rick?
read this one. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
You're on mute.
Man. Okay. Now I'm unmuted. So when I travel, I make sure I have extra medication with me. So if I'm traveling for 5 days, I'll pack an extra 3 or 4 days just in case there's delays, whether it's uh, airplane delays, weather delays, car breaks down. You definitely want to make sure you have extra medication with you. Also, advertise to people that you're spending time with in case they don't know things to look out for. So, for example, I went to go visit my sister recently for her son's high school graduation. I just reminded, hey, I have epilepsy now. So if I'm acting like this or you notice this is what you need to do. So awareness. I have an ID bracelet that I bring with me, even though my wife doesn't leave my side, just in case. Make sure people know. And I don't know what type of travel. So if you're going to be traveling on a plane or something like that, check with TSA and bring the actual bottle with your name on it. That way, just in case something happens that the bottle becomes in question, you do have proof that you're taking it because your name's on it. Lastly, check with your insurance and your pharmacy in case something happens that, oh, now you're going to be delayed an extra week or two, that you could get your medication filled.
Yeah, so mail order pharmacy, that's definitely something I didn't think of. But then again, I've been taking like a quarter of what I'm prescribed, so I got a pretty good stockpile of Keppra.
Oh, okay,
But
that's good.
thank you for the suggestions. We're
Sure
gonna be on
thing.
the road for a couple of weeks.
For a couple of weeks. Well, usually when I went on vacations, I would always plan it right after I had picked up my medications. So, yeah.
All right, so it's mostly about the meds. I'm looking forward to still participating though with the family
Yeah.
if they find some kind of theme park or something. I don't want to slow anybody down, so
Meds, and
You're
let
that's what
people
I'm
know
looking
around
forward
you.
to.
Yeah, you're going to be with your mom too, right?
You guys ever still do the family vacation or have things like that?
It's fun. I might
What
be.
about roller coasters specifically?
I never tried roller coasters after I had epilepsy. I like theme parks when I was smaller though, but yeah, that worked.
Okay,
I
I
got
hate
it.
Wi-Fi.
Kate,
Sorry,
I
guys.
would
I
just
was
notify your
asking about roller
doctor.
coasters.
Say that again, Angel.
I would just say notify your doctor that you're going to be gone. And, like, hey, I'm going here,
Yeah, that's something to
Tennessee
think
or
about.
whatever, and let them know where you're going to be at. So if you have trouble, they know you're there and they can, like, um, I guess, talk to them. I don't know how to say it properly, but like
No, I think that
talk
makes
to the
sense
right
because
channel.
if I end up in the ER or something, I should at least have the contact information for the physician so they could get my records better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I got something here. This person does sound like they need help. It says, "What is something you had to stop lying about, lying to yourself about?" Um,
Hmm.
uh, my mom didn't know I've had epilepsy for the past 8 years. My girlfriend did not know that I did not tell my mother. My mother has been around the whole time, and I live with her. She's never seen a tonic-clonic, and she's always wondered why I'm spaced out, so she doesn't understand what focals are. Being that I know what focals are, I would lie to her and tell her it's just me blanking out, and she would say, okay. My girlfriend never, I mean, my boyfriend never told my mom because he thought it would be a problem with me because I had always said that I didn't want her to know. That's messed up. But unfortunately, this morning I had a tonic-clonic. What I was told was 4 seizures back to back in front of my mother, and this is the first thing she's seen. And my boyfriend told her that I've been having seizures, and she was hurt. Um, she was hurt. That was all. There was no question. Oh, the question was, what is something you had to stop lying to yourself about? Mm.
I think I was lying to
Anybody?
myself about using epilepsy as an excuse, saying that I just have to do what the doctor tells me and I can't get any better because of epilepsy. But that's more of an excuse. I was lying to myself about that. But this group has helped reveal that.
Go
So
ahead,
once
Rick.
again, thank you.
I guess I had to stop lying about those stop signs weren't there. Um, so I realized, hey, even though I'm legally able to drive, it might not be the best idea right now. So I held off on that until I get used to medication and really think about how my focus abilities are. Because I did drive through a few stop signs with my wife yelling, "You didn't stop at that stop sign." I'm like, what stop sign? It wasn't there. So I stopped lying to myself about that.
When I was younger, I guess I I don't know if it was lying to myself, but it's also accepting. But it was like, yeah, I have seizures. Telling myself that, like, stop doing the dumb stuff that going on roller coasters, the stuff I shouldn't be doing, other stuff I shouldn't be doing because I have epilepsy, accept the risk factors that come with epilepsy and think everything through. And that was when I was younger and like accepted it. Yeah, I have epilepsy. Yeah. So I guess that's lying to myself. I don't know.
You in denial?
Yeah, the
Things I've
denial period.
been there.
Would you guys ever trust a politician more if they were epileptic?
No.
No, because they have a certain agenda coming in, and it's not epilepsy. So
Yeah, I don't think
they
the
don't go
disability
looking
would
for
make
those
anybody
jobs.
more genuine.
Yeah, I agree because there's, we have governors that are in wheelchairs and we have, we had presidents that had polio and other things. So I don't think having a disability changes, politicians are egomaniacs and out, for themselves and they have agendas. So I don't think having epilepsy would change anything with that.
I mean, it doesn't accept it with like celebrities who have epilepsy. Epilepsy. Uh, sorry, I think my meds are getting to me. Um, but it's like we don't view them any higher than we normally did. So
Might help with fundraising. That's about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's what
about
I'm
it.
thinking. I think it would earn respect more in professions that are service oriented though, more like, things like teachers and nurses and customer service type stuff. If I don't know, if they have a disability, then I would probably empathize.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Um, My mind is still on the girl that said she was having seizures for 6 years and basically told her boyfriend, "Don't tell her mom," that she wasn't having tonics in front of her mother. She was having focals. That's kind of messed up.
You see why the mother would feel excluded. Like that was dishonest.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, now she's hurt. The way she put it is seeming like, oh, now she's hurt. But yeah, man, that sucks. Like all that time and no one's knowing what's going on, and you just, my parents had to know. Um, yeah, I was a kid. You got to know what's going on. Um, this person didn't have an age up there, so I'm assuming they're one of the people that are grown and got epilepsy and moved back home with parents. And yeah, she's just like, I didn't tell my mom. Yeah,
That's got to be hard though, to conceal epilepsy from somebody you're actually living with. Yeah, that would be impossible.
I was gonna say I can kind of see her side, but I kind of can't. It's like I guess if you don't have one in front of her, you might not think about it. Oh, later on, you're like, oh, I had a seizure. Maybe that doesn't come to mind. And yeah, but 6 years to not have a seizure in front of someone you're living with, you're doing pretty good while that person is around. Um, yeah. Now she can't lie to herself anymore or her mother.
Yeah, I hope she can turn this somewhat into a positive experience. Just be totally honest about, I didn't want you to find out because I didn't want you to have any more of a burden or responsibility. Obviously, that's probably what this girl felt, to try to hide it for so long. So,
Well, yeah, obviously her mother didn't know she had epilepsy, so this wasn't a situation where she got epilepsy and moved back home, didn't have any options.
right.
But yeah, yeah, I guess you don't want her to be hurt. I don't know. She was still hurt. I'd tell my mother in that position because you can get hurt, and yeah, she could have been having them home alone, and mother didn't know, or in the room or something alone, and mom hears something fall in the shower and don't think anything of it because you're not having seizures that she knows of. Could be one of those situations. Think she dropped shampoo. I'm not gonna check because she doesn't have seizures. Know what I mean?
Yep.
Another one says possible PNES. How would I get diagnosed with seizures? Do they do scans of the brain? I've been struggling with jerking movements before I fall asleep. I think I might have PNES. I snap out of it when my attention's occupied, so I'm not understanding what's going on. The first comment says talk to your primary care about what you're experiencing and ask if you can be referred to a neurologist who can run an EEG. This is Reddit. I'm not a doctor, but it's possible you're experiencing sleep myoclonus, hypogenic jerks, which are muscle jerks that occur in the transition from wakeness to full sleep. They are completely normal. Talk to your doctor if you are concerned.
Makes sense. You definitely got to get EEG and imaging done to try to get to the cause. But I guess you're starting off right by trying to figure out exactly how to get to the
You start off right, at
cause.
least
Yeah.
asking somebody.
Yeah. Do
But
your
the
Yeah,
research.
person
you
was
want to
like, not
get
a doctor. This is Reddit.
Right. Yeah, but she said she could snap out of it when she focuses on something else. And that's a precursor for psychogenic, um, because she can bring herself out of the seizure. But yeah, I think what that person said with the myoclonic, the sleep myoclonus, Yeah, it's just muscle jerks when you're falling asleep, and it's not threatening. There's nothing wrong. It's very common. It's kind of like restless leg syndrome. And I have a friend who had it, and she started taking magnesium, and it went away. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about seizures in that case because of what they said, that you know focusing on something else will make that feeling stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like they were maybe not aware the whole time, but if they're able to stop, then it might not be the same kind of epilepsy that's uncontrollable.
Yeah. Hmm.
Anybody ever accuse you guys of being selfish for having children or starting a family while when you know you have a disability?
No. I'm not gonna say all mines were accidents, but since I'm a guy, I didn't have it planned. I just was like told, "Hey, yo, I'm pregnant. Time to figure it out." So yeah, I wasn't being. If anything, we're both being selfish. We're not using condoms, so you know I have epilepsy. Um, yeah, just never got used to those things. So kids were just popping out left and right, and now they're here. If you guys see this, you're not accidents. You just weren't my plan. Yeah, so I wouldn't call it selfish.
Good.
We were planning to have our daughter,
Yeah, you're different.
not when it happened. Like it was just not at that time. We were planning though. But I don't think I'm selfish. I actually maybe I had to get talked into it to wanting to have a child because I was afraid of passing on the epilepsy.
That makes sense. Do you have a way of telling if you have the genetic form?
No, my wife, ex-wife, soon to be, um, said like she had a couple talks to me, and it was just like one talk that said something to me, and it was like, look, if she gets it, she's gonna have the best guide that can help her because you already been through it. And at like I was still scared for it, but it was like truth. It's like I know how to handle the epilepsy part, you know?
Yeah, so definitely will always be a good example as a dad or a patient or whatever it is.
I got one. Does anyone else struggle with spelling? For the past year, my brain's been getting all confused. I'm never sure if I'm spelling things correctly. Not not in the dessert or desert way. I legitimately misspell canceled or border in many other ways and have been relying on spell check at this point. I used to love writing and memorizing how to spell words because it was fun for me now, but now I can't trust my own spelling from my seizures. Does anyone else feel like they're declining? It's getting scary. Sorry if I'm posting a lot here. Does anyone struggle with spelling?
I
Go
think
ahead,
that's
Rick.
kind of why I play crosswords so much.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, I I got a new quote where I say, I swear I really am educated. So, never mind the spelling mistakes. I have spelling errors so bad, spell check just looks at me and says, I ain't working on that. Um, for some reason, I type out the word lasso instead of also. I don't know why. Like I even like slowly type it in and it still comes out as lasso. I'm like, okay, I don't know why that's doing it. So yeah, my spelling has gone from not great to whoa. And what's interesting is my misspellings spell other words, so spell check doesn't think it's a it's
Yeah.
a misspelling. So I read stuff. I'm like, oh, I wrote that. Oh, I got to redo that. Oh no, I already sent that. All right, just let my boss know. Hey, just let you know, ignore all the spelling mistakes.
Yeah, with me, I turned off autocorrect because I thought I was having that problem about forgetting how to spell words. So when I turned off autocorrect, it kind of helped me type and keep knowing the words, because you use autocorrect too much, you're gonna let it finish words for you and all kind of stuff like that. So I turned it off and I've been just typing out my words, and some of them I've noticed that, yeah, I forgot how to spell this. So typing it out helped not forget the whole word and eventually using it more. And yeah, like sending messages sometimes, like I can type pretty fast just looking at the keyboard, but it's the time where I look up for a second, then I type something else. And by the time I'm done, look down at it again, sentence is done, text is sent, stuff like that. Well, I mean, on my laptop, the message will be sent, and I didn't notice I pressed that. I looked up for a second. I'm usually really good when I'm looking at the keyboard and it works. But it's that 1 second I look up and then I don't notice in the message because it's already 3 or 4 sentences past and didn't proofread before I sent it, stuff like that. Yeah, I just suggest try not to use autocorrect too much and try to, well, yeah, it's hard to remember stuff. So, yeah, if you give up on trying to spell, might just
Uh,
forget to spell.
I tried to spell it in my head first, and sometimes, yeah, that can be a challenge with some of the more difficult words. Um, and I just go like, "Hey, what's the letter?" Or I even go, "Is this even a word? Like, is this even the right word? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this even a word? Am I spelling like a right word?"
Yeah, I had to look up a few words sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I thought I was good. Let me still look this one up because it doesn't look right. Stuff like that.
I do have one funny thing is after I had my first brain surgery, I was able to say some words and not able to say other ones. So like for some reason, I always struggled with the word relevant, where I kind of would merge reverent with relevant, and my wife would make fun of me all the time. And all of a sudden, coming out of brain surgery, I was talking and I came up with something where I had to use the word, and I said relevant, and my wife just started crying. I'm like, "What's the matter?" She says, "You've never been able to say that word. How are you able to say that now?" So even though that's not a spelling thing, that's a speaking thing. That was funny.
Um, yeah, struggling with spelling. No, Angel, you get that struggling with spelling?
Yeah, I do. I do. And I don't try to use the autocorrect as much. Like, sometimes you can't help it with the phone,
Yeah,
but I like I said, I try to spell it in my head first, then try it. And even with like the green line, I'll look at it and I'll see, what I try to do, what did I do wrong first. But yeah, I do get it wrong.
Has anybody heard of sunflower syndrome? I'll read about it. It says, just learned about something called sunflower syndrome, and I'm honestly shaken. My kid is autistic and nonverbal, and for years we've seen him spin toys, wave his hands in front of his face, toward lights, stare at ceiling fans, get totally zoned out. I always thought it was just stimming, but now I learned it might actually be myoclonic seizures, like real seizure activity. I had no idea what was happening to him and myoclonia. I feel awful. No one ever told me seizures could look like this. He might have been having them for years and we had no clue. He spins his monkey noodle in front of a window or fan and it just disappears into it like he's stuck. Sometimes he gets irritable after or lashes out randomly. It's starting to make much more sense. We don't have a diagnosis yet, but he's being rushed through referrals now, trying not to spiral, but honestly, I feel like I failed him. We've already started dimming the house, avoiding bright lights, covering windows, switching bulbs. He still has the noodle, but we're working on slowly weaning him off it. If anyone else has any experience with sunflower syndrome or thinks their kid might have it, please reach out. This is terrifying and lonely, and I just need some advice right now on what to do with him. Advice on what to do with a 12-year-old Angel?
I think I don't know about sunflower syndrome at all, but I think any child or preteen who's lonely and feeling out of place with something like epilepsy, bring them. You have to. It's hard to find um a local spot where they can meet others who are just like them. But hey, there's online chat rooms just like Epilepsy Universe, you know?
Hey, we need a
And
one-on-one.
oh, we're on a one-on-one now?
No, that's me and Kate need a one-on-one. We haven't had one yet.
Uh,
I need one for this weekend too. So
Kate's trying to dodge it. I think she's the only mod that hasn't had one.
no, she would be the first actually. Yeah.
No, Rick's already done one.
Oh yeah, Rick's already done one. Okay, yeah.
All right, we'll see what we can fit in.
Yeah, my head's all crazy.
So you guys got any icebreaker questions for a doctor? I'm thinking about when I got to get a hold of a new care team in a new place. What should be kind of the first question I ask to get a good vibe from the doctor, see what kind of vibe they give?
Icebreaker for the doctor.
I don't know if they would get offended if I go to ask them something like, how often do you do this? You know, how good at this are you, basically? But
I
not
was
like one
thinking
of
of
those things where
something
they
like
could
that.
tell you how many patients they've cured. So
Yeah, I usually research my doctors up and look at them ahead of time and see. But
Yeah. Lately, an icebreaker would be, how you been? What you been up to, doc? I don't know. Get them to loosen up a little bit. Then you go in for the hard questions. then you could possibly ask them
The
questions
season.
like you said earlier. Yeah, kind of change up the vibe to a smooth vibe and can ask pretty much anything. Where did you get that license from?
Okay, now we're connected. Okay, so what were you guys saying about doctors' questions?
You weren't connected?
No, I faded out that whole time.
Oh my.
It's all right. You don't have to waste your breath.
You
Did
might
you
have
have
to wait
anything?
for the edit. I forgot.
It's all right. That's why these are recorded. Your words are never
He
wasted.
said, I'm trying to remember. He said, started off slow with like a nice, how you doing, Doc? How's it been? And
Oh
then
yeah. Change the mood, lower the mood. How have you been? What you been up to? Not there's a certain way to ask certain doctors what you've been up to, because not all of them want to talk about, oh, how's your week been? Oh, and they'll probably say something you can lean into. Oh, me and the kids, this, and this. How old are your kids? And some people overshare, and that's how I get information to continue the conversation. Um, I'd be like, I didn't ask you all that, but instead of saying that, I just go off one of those things. But I've heard people say things like that. I didn't ask you all that. All I asked you was, how you doing today? Yeah,
I just went with the joke of how's your season?
right. So I had a question to you guys. How do you guys talk about epilepsy when you don't want to talk about epilepsy, but you have to somebody because they're family and they're around? I read that somewhere and I
I
lost it.
love you.
Say that again.
Oh, I was talking to my mom.
Yeah, I read it earlier. I forgot where, but it said, how do you talk about epilepsy when you don't want to talk about epilepsy, but you have to talk about epilepsy because it's your family? How do you do that? Ooh, you don't want to?
It's
I give them the least
very,
amount of info and fast.
I don't mind talking about epilepsy when we're here together like this. But there's some people, like in my own family, where I try to talk about it and they just refuse to want to accept it. And it's just like, I don't want to talk about it, but it's like, hey, this is this is that, you
Okay,
know?
now this thing let me back in. All right, well, this time I heard the question and I planned on if, family or anybody starts getting a little too nosy, I'll, try to be polite, but the question was something about how would you describe epilepsy when you don't want to, like when you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, so how do you talk about epilepsy when you don't want to talk about epilepsy, but you have to talk about it because it's family?
Okay, so I'll give them the basics, just kind of what they need to know, and if they get any more pushy after that, I could always try to make it awkward. Then they would shut up.
Yeah, I give them the quickest explanation as fast as possible, the least amount of information, but enough information to something. Yeah.
I mean,
You know, basics.
if I have their phone number, I just text them the stuff I got off the Epilepsy Foundation saved off my phone.
Yeah. Wow.
Here, look at it.
So
Yeah.
you
So,
prepared.
I didn't have. Let me see. I think I had some more.
I think the hardest thing to really, really talk about is what people don't really understand also. is definitely what the medications do to us and everything, and like how much more we have to work through. Like,
Damn, the video cut out at the worst time. I missed it.
I got something I can read quick. It says
Alright.
girlfriend had 3 seizures today, no seizure history. Hey, I honestly know nothing about seizures. I woke up at 7 this morning and my girlfriend was having a seizure, which only lasted a couple minutes. She has never had history of a seizure. I called 911 and they checked her vitals, then pretty much left and said call back if anything happens again, which I thought was odd. Around 12:45, she had another seizure, which was worse than the first. So I called 911 again and they took a look at her at the hospital. All they did was give her nausea medicine for her CHS and did a CT scan, which they said was good, but said they couldn't do anything with medicine until she was seen by a neurologist. Correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't the hospital be able to figure out what's going on? They sent me home with her, and at about 5:55, she had a third seizure, and I'm honestly pretty worried and have no clue what to do. The paramedics this time checked her vitals and said nothing was out of the ordinary, but they just keep getting worse. My only guess is somehow she's seizing from withdrawal symptoms of stopping marijuana and attempt to get her CHS episodes to stop. I guess my questions are how worried should I be? And should I drive her to the hospital in a different town in hopes of something different happens? One comment says, she wouldn't be having seizures from a marijuana withdrawal. No, the hospital is for emergency treatment. They stabilize, then refer to specialists, which in this case is a neurologist.
So that one sounds like they definitely should have brought her to the hospital.
yeah, they definitely need to go to a different hospital. It's might be a rural area or something. I don't know. I'm getting that sense like it's a rural area.
Anywhere some paramedics would come and maybe not believe them, because if they showed up, she was probably out of, not she was
Yeah,
probably post-ictal when the paramedics got there. So if anything, they might have thought she OD'd. She was just real high, or anything else that could cause daze or confusion, and more likely not to believe without some kind of video evidence, because that's the only thing that would make a paramedic want to just say, good
yeah,
luck.
but 3 seizures in one day definitely need to get checked out. They should definitely give her something.
Especially if you have no seizure history.
Yeah, they should
Um,
at least give her something by the second seizure.
Someone said, yes, it is from withdrawal. You need to do it real slow. No, that is not true. Well, I can't be 100% sure, but what works for me may not have worked for others. So maybe, you never know. But I don't believe you cut out weed and you just have seizures. Like, that personally doesn't sound like a thing. Like, I'm going to stop smoking and then I'm going to have seizures. That doesn't go together. I don't understand why some people say such things. That was in the comments. Yeah, you titrate down off of weed. What the hell? Yeah. Let's keep going through these comments. One said a neurologist would need to see her to confirm epilepsy or non-epileptic seizures if that were the case. Using EEG. Seizures wouldn't be due to marijuana withdrawal, though could be a contributing factor to non-epileptic. Someone else commented, she needs to go to the neurologist and get a proper medication. Some seizure meds work differently for others. I got seizures out of the blue around 3 years ago, and I still have them now. So my medication is continuously changing. Yeah, someone was really crazy talking about it's the withdrawal from the weed. You gotta need to slow down slow. My absent seizures are weird. So I have absent seizures. I can feel it about to begin, barely a second, and to me, what feels like just a blink. It's actually a whole 3 to 5 minutes that's gone by. I also apparently look scared, and what I've been told by others, kick, walk, always do really fast. Told by others, kick, walk away real fast, and try to find a safe place to curl up in. Does anyone else know anything about this happens during them, or has anyone experienced similar things? I don't think I've had absent seizures. Have you? Can you explain to me what they're about? What's an absent seizure?
An absent
Some
seizure is no more different than d- uh like daydreaming. Someone saying you're daydreaming or fantasizing or whatever. And they only last. They're short. Um, they're less than a minute. Sometimes they're very unnoticeable, which is, I'm sorry. And what was the full question?
it's about what is an absent seizure, and I think you covered it. You know, they're brief, and the only point that I wasn't positive about, but it sounds like nobody is aware during that blank stare or the daydreaming. You
Yeah.
nobody's that's having an absent seizure is actually aware of what's
Um.
going on.
Yeah. They're not. They're definitely not aware. You can call their name and they won't answer you. Um. And from when I was living with my wife, when we first started seeing my current neurologist, he she described to him how my absent seizures were, and he basically said she can look inside my eyes, like looking and see I'm not home.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and I had, uh, I think the better one for is, I don't know how to say it, is Ulfixide, but I take methexamide for my absence seizure because of my liver. It's an older one.
Um, that's what I'm here. Wow. There are people who slowly wake up on a Saturday morning and leisurely climb out of bed, make some coffee, and decide what they're going to do that day. Then there are people who wake up crying and feeling like death with a sore tongue and a headache and need to immediately strip and wash their bed and take a shower because they peed all over themselves. Hi, it's me, the peepier. Thank God I got a waterproof mattress protectors. I'm just ranting, I guess. F my life. In the comments, someone said, been there. My dog and I pee in the bed a little too often. At least when I do it, it's an accident. Someone else said, I pee myself every time I have a seizure and puke. So it's both ends. It's okay. We all do it. Comments are the best.
That's nothing to make fun of, even with people who don't have seizures.
Someone said happened to me twice so far. I live with my mom and was so embarrassing to tell her what had happened. I couldn't speak well. I chewed my tongue up too. But yeah, they thank God, thank goodness for the mattress protectors.
I agree with that one.
Your mattress protectors will save your
Especially,
mattress.
yeah, especially now that they want like $1,000 for a decent mattress. That's not a twin.
I got something. Feeling conflicted. 21-year-old female started having seizures at 6, and they stopped when I was 13. And tonight I just had my first seizure in 8 years. I guess it's kind of considered myself cured, even though I'm still taking medication, Vimpat. It was very scary because I haven't had one in such a long time. I thought I was having a stroke. My right side started drooping, and I started having a severe panic attack. And in the car, on the way to the hospital, I started to have a seizure, but I was completely conscious the entire time, which was even more scary. I was feeling funny and weak on my right side all day with severe anxiety and brain fog. The ER did a CT, did a head CT, which came back normal. So it's good to know that I'm not having them for any other reason than epilepsy. I'm going to go call the neurologist in the morning and figure out where to go from here. I feel like this is just, I feel like this just really shook me up after everything not being very good to begin with. And on top of all of that, on my hospital paperwork, the ER is trying to convince me that I had an anxiety attack. Why does no one ever believe us? It's only a seizure, but maybe no, it's just me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
no one wants to ever believe it's just a seizure. Most people don't even realize what seizures are outside of a grand mal or tonic-clonic. And
But this one said 6 years too. Could you
yeah,
imagine after going that long? That would be like, one of our heroes going that long
yeah,
without a seizure, and we're all about asking them how they do it. How's that
that's a big
feel? What you
win.
doing? And then it hits you again. That's got to be devastating.
There's never a cure for epilepsy, you know, just hope it stays away. Um, as for the part that might have been a stroke, it might be the Vimpat. Just double check with your neurologist and whatever, your doctors, all about that, because we said it, I think, earlier tonight about Vimpat and a few other meds. They do cause problem with heart rhythms, and
I was just happy to find it in an actual published study. It's like we all have our proven theories, if you will, of what happens to us, but before they actually put it in some kind of medical document, doctors and insurance companies, it's just too easy for them to say, oh, it's just a seizure. You just have heart problems, and make it sound like
yeah,
there's no connection and it's just something else to deal with.
yeah,
It was
don't let them.
frustrating. It sounded like that person who posted was more ranting about, or frustrated rather, about that, not being
Don't,
acknowledged.
yeah, don't get a misdiagnosis or something like that.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.